Guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to do a little page in my Life Crafted album using the September Life Crafted kit from Citrus Twist. Now I pretty much knew what I wanted to do for this page. As soon as I saw that 3x4 card that said today's victories, I knew it would be perfect for this kind of page. It was one of those days where I just needed a tiny little pick-me-up. And I don't know about you, but nothing makes me feel better faster than just writing down a few little gratitudes. So that's what I'm going to do today. Now I've already trimmed out some pink base papers. I already had them sitting in my album. I decided pink, if I'm going to, pick myself up. Nothing does that better than pink, so I'm going to go with pink. It goes nicely with the card as well, and I also picked out another 3x4 card that worked nicely with that original Victories card. Now, I had a whole bunch of pattern papers that could have worked with this page. I also really want to use some of those florals. In the end, I've decided to go with the wood grain just to kind of neutralize things a little bit, tone down a bit of the pinkness. I was going to use two different pattern papers, and I think in the end I'm just going to go with the one. I trimmed it so that it would fit full size on the left hand side, and then I decided to use that little strip, and I'm going to add that onto the right hand page so that I can just carry those two pages together a little bit. Now I'm going to work out where I want to put my florals. I've got the 3x4 cards echoing each other on each side, and I just added a little Instax photo. I had quickly taken a photo of some of the blossom that's coming out on our tree right before a storm, so that was lucky that I managed to get a photo of that. I want to try and create three kind of clusters, I guess, or just 3 points of interest with these florals. So I've got two larger ones on the left hand side, on the right hand side, because it's a little bit more open there, and with the photo I just want to add that one tiny little floral. I really want to use one of the stamps from the Good Life stamp set. This is my favorite stamp set from this month's release. It's just gorgeous, and I wanted to add a stamp on there. I didn't want it to kind of take up too much attention, so you'll see how I deal with that in just a second. The other thing I did was take away that other 3x4 journaling card. Having the teal on there as well as the pink kind of distracted from this very sort of monochromatic color scheme I've got going on. Once I decided not to use those teal flowers, it just didn't make sense to use that 3x4 card anymore. So what I did was trim down just another one of those pattern papers. This one's in a pink pattern, a very light pink pattern. Trimmed that down so it's still 3x4 size, and so it balances out the right hand side. Now, instead of stamping this Everyday Beauty stamp down here in my usual kind of black ink, that really would just take away too much attention from the rest of the layout. So I'm going to do something a little bit more subtle. I have used my powder tool to prep the card, and I'm stamping with a Versamark ink. And then I'm going to add a little bit of embossing powder. Can't remember the name of this one. It's from Wow, and it is really a pretty sort of antique-y silver color with a little bit of glitter in there. So I just added my embossing powder, and then I went away and heat set that. While I had the cards heat set, I run them through my sewing machine, just adding a tiny little bit of stitching. Just that little bit of detail and texture I find really helps to give a simple layout like this just a little bit more lift. Same thing goes with distressing the edges. I'm just using a Tim Holtz distressing tool just to distress those edges a little bit. I know I've added the stitching. That just helps it kind of stand out, I guess, off the page. It's like a tiny bit of dimension. I'm not adding any foam or anything to these pieces, though. I am just going to adhere them directly down onto my backing card. Now those cards I have trimmed at 5 inches by 8¼ inches, and so when I'm placing down these pattern papers, I'm just centering them on the paper, so there's a little bit of pink around each edge, and obviously I'm leaving a bigger strip down the middle where the holes are. Now I'm going to add my Instax photo here with a little bit of adhesive tape runner. I do like to add some sort of permanent fixture though, like a tiny attacher staple, which of course I've totally run out of tiny attacher staples. I hardly ever use my tiny attacher, and when I do, there's never any staples in it. So I added some more staples, and I just put a couple in at the top. I have had a few occasions where any adhesive behind those Instax photos, it can sort of it kind of like melts, I guess, and so it doesn't adhere totally. So just having something like some staples on there just makes sure that if that does happen, it's not going to disappear into my album, especially because these pages I'm not putting into page protectors. Now I went and ran my 3x4 journaling card just straight through my typewriter. I've got a typecast ribbon in there so I can type in pink. Thought might as well carry on with the theme here. And then I have glued that down so that it's at the same height. It's basically mirroring the left and the right page together. So I've added my florals in. On the right hand side, they're just directly on top of that journaling card, and on the left hand side I've kind of tucked them underneath the photo just so this shows a bit more layers. And I want to add just a tiny little bit more decoration, so I'm going to add a few of these puffy sticker hearts. I love that there are wood grain ones in this set, and because I've got that wood grain paper, I really want to highlight those, so I'm just working out where the best places to add those are. I'm going to add a couple of the wood grain ones and a couple of the more pinker ones. I've already used this kit for a few projects, so a lot of the pink hearts are already gone. I'm just adding a few so they sort of flow from the bottom left of the left hand side up to the top right of the right hand side, just to give that little bit of visual flow. And then the last thing I want to do is stamp a few of the little phrases from the Good Life set. There's these kind of circle-shaped phrases, and I thought I would add those just in kind of a really subtle way. I'm going to do sort of a pink stamping. It's kind of just tone on tone. It'll end up looking more like a texture rather than like a focal point. So I'm just going to stamp those on in and around the flowers. Again, I'm going to do 3, so I've still got my 3 points of interest. And with that, my layout is all done. I don't know if you've ever done this, created a page of sort of gratitude like this. It really is an awesome exercise, especially on those days where you really just are not feeling the best. So I highly encourage you to give it a go. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there are a couple more videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye guys.